Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Sporting Perspective. It is the 13th week of the college football season. We are well into November, just a few weeks left here in the regular season, and a lot of things are beginning to shape up. Before we jump into the college football playoff, I actually wanted to bring up one other topic before we get going. James Franklin has found a new home in Virginia Tech. So I just wanted to get your reaction to that. Do you think that's going to be a good fit? And, what was your reaction?
Yeah, it was quick. It's weird to think that Virginia Tech has gone multiple weeks without technically having a head coach, and now they already hired their next one for. I believe he doesn't. I mean, he'll probably get started on some stuff now, but he'll
Yeah.
really start coaching next year, right?
Yes. Yeah.
He's not coaching like for any of these upcoming games. That's what I
No.
thought. I like the hire. I mean, it's definitely it's a lot less pressure for him.
Hmm.
He's still a big name. Virginia Tech, honestly, minus Frank Beamer, really probably wouldn't be that big of a program. Their fans are crazy. The atmosphere there is good, but it's just a lot less pressure.
Yeah.
And like we've talked about before, I think he really is a. I think he's a solid coach. He's a good program builder. Penn State might have just been a little bit too much of a too big time for him. But yeah, I think this will be. I think this is a solid fit. A good school for him to kind of rebound at, I guess.
Yeah, I think this is actually a really good fit because, well, the biggest criticism of him is he couldn't beat a top 10 opponent. And the ACC, they really have had none in the past 2 years. So he should be able to do very well there and recruit very well. And Virginia Tech has a history of winning. They've been down, for the last decade or so now, but they have a history there, and the ACC's been down. I wouldn't be surprised if he took the Virginia Tech to the playoffs within a few years because just the ACC is not very good.
Yeah, it'll be funny to see if 3 4 years from now the same things are happening with him at Virginia Tech. You know, can't win the big games,
Yeah,
um, losing to subpar competition in games you probably should win. But doesn't have to worry about that for quite some time because
yeah,
he's going to be in a crappy division in the
yeah.
ACC, and hopefully he can turn that program around and compete for. I mean, he'll have an easier
Road.
road, I guess, to the playoffs. Just got to win the ACC. So
Yeah. So, but yeah, I guess that was kind of the big news that broke this week. And then last night we saw the new college football playoff ranking show. And, coming off of this week, Alabama losing, they fall down. There to me there wasn't a whole lot of surprises. I think the big message that has now been sent is if you're a two-loss team, even if you're a one-loss team, kind of, you better not lose the rest of the way, or you're probably getting knocked out of this thing. There's just too many teams with one, two losses at this point. But what was your reaction to it?
I think it's funny the Miami Twitter going off about how they're ranked behind Notre Dame, and it's like, okay, yes, you beat Notre Dame week one. That's a long time ago, and you have two losses to two unranked teams, whereas Notre Dame's losses are all, I guess, good losses if you want to
Yeah,
say that. But I just thought it was kind of funny. Miami fans are melting down per usual. The other takeaway I had was Tulane at the 12 seed. I think is interesting. It's just been a rotating door for this
yeah,
uh, Power Five, I guess the whatever they're. I can't think of what they're calling it.
group of five.
Group of five, group of five team. It's reaching a point where it's like I don't know who's going to be in there, and honestly, whoever does is probably going to lose week one anyways. Which then will bring the question: does a group of five team deserve to be in there? I mean, we saw Boise State get a bye and then get absolutely destroyed to Penn State, which was not a good look. They fixed that by saying, all right, so even if we have a, let's just, I don't think Boise State was undefeated last year, but even if we have a team like that, they don't deserve a bye in the first round. It'll be interesting. I mean, a Tulane is making the 12 seed when a one-loss BYU is not even getting in there, or even maybe a Utah. Like, I'd like to see the 12 best teams in there. I don't think we need to just throw in a Tulane just to give them a chance. I mean, if Tulane was a top 12 team in the country and undefeated, sure, put them in. But um, I guess we'll see what this group of 5 team does against the whoever ends up as the 5 seed.
Yeah, I would say at this point, if you are if you're on the bubble, you're really rooting for Texas Tech to win the Big 12, because I still think the Big 12 is probably going to end up being a one bid league at this point. Miami, I know they're all up in arms, but I don't see Miami getting in. So they're not going to get in at large. Like, let's say Vanderbilt wins out, they're going to have a better resume with the same record. Let's say USC wins out, better resume, same record. They're going to get leapfrogged by a couple of these teams here and there, even though they're 13. They could win out, and they could potentially not even be 13 when it's all said and done. Um, Oklahoma, I got to give a lot of credit to. I did not think they would beat Alabama for the second year in a row. They've proved themselves into that spot. I mean, some of these teams are playing better too. Notre Dame looked not very good at the beginning of the year, very young team. Now they're looking really good, and it makes sense. You get some credit points for looking good late. The wins in early September, August, they're nice, but if you're playing your best ball then and you're playing weak at the end of the year, the committee's going to see that. And they've proven that kind of year in and year out. So, as we always say, we've got to play the games and see how they lay out. But, I mean, I think the biggest one is if you're a bubble team, you're really rooting for Texas Tech to win out, because I think Texas Tech is safe regardless, and you don't want to have, like, BYU or Utah steal a bit.
Right. The last thing I will say, I know I'm kind of contradicting myself because I was saying how maybe a group of 5 team shouldn't be in there. Well, the fact is there is going to be one. I did a little digging. I know yesterday or the day before we were talking about James Madison, which is a little foreshadowing potentially for a game we might highlight down the road. Um, they actually made the switch in 2022 from FCS to FBS, so they are eligible to make the playoff. They only have 1 loss, whereas does Tulane have 2?
Tulane's got 2.
Yeah, so they're definitely, I don't want to say screwing over James Madison, but James Madison's loss came to a good Louisville team, but the rest of their wins aren't really that good in the Sun Belt Conference. Tulane being in the American, I guess they're just making those wins valued at just a little more. So I don't know. If I was a James Madison fan, I'd be a little upset because they're probably going to win out and be a 1-loss team. So they're going to be rooting for a Tulane loss, because James Madison will have a shot at potentially getting that group of 5 if they can win out, and some of these other bigger name group of 5 conferences just don't really have anyone to send.
Which will be really fun, because James Madison, that's where Indiana's coach came from. They have a coach that's kind of on the hot seat right now too, maybe going somewhere else. So, yeah, James Madison's a team to look out for. But yeah, I guess we're going to have to see how these games play out here, and we might as well just jump into it. We got 6 games this week. Usually we got 5, but we got a fun one right off of the top. A little bit different. This week is the Harvard-Yale matchup rivalry. Did a little research. This is a good game. Harvard undefeated 9-0. Yale 7-2 coming into this one. Getting played at Yale. Who do you have in this oldest rivalry we can imagine?
So no simulation. Unfortunately, college football doesn't have these schools in there. So we don't get to do a simulation, which kind of sucks. But I'm taking Harvard. I like their defense. I did a little research into them as a team. They're obviously undefeated.
Yep.
Yale still is good. I think Yale has 2 losses. But, the phrase defense wins championships, I think Harvard's defense is going to come to play and shut down Yale's offense. So I'm taking the Crimson, Harvard Crimson, Yale Bulldogs. So, yeah,
That's right.
I'm taking the Crimson.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take Harvard as well. A lot of things that you already said, just be doubling down on undefeated. They're going to come in hot, and I don't see them losing, so I'll take Harvard. No simulation on this one, so let's just move forward. We're going to jump into the SEC, a little different level of competition with number 22 Missouri heading to Oklahoma, number 8, who we talked about a little bit earlier. Who do you got here?
I went away from choosing Oklahoma last week, and I made a comment that John Mateer's a dog. He's a Baker type of player. All right, I'm gonna get back on that. I'm taking Oklahoma. They're at home. They're in the college football playoff. They're the 8 seed currently. They want to make noise, and I'll say it again. I'm a John Mateer fan. He's a good quarterback. He's fun. Um, so yeah, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm going to take Oklahoma too. The committee is really, in a way, almost rewarding Oklahoma or realizing the fact that their 2 losses were when Mateer wasn't 100%. And when Mateer is 100%, it's one of the best teams in the country. So I'm going to take Oklahoma, and this is going to be a scary team to play in December and maybe even January because I could see this team making a run with that great quarterback play.
Simulation had Oklahoma winning 37-23.
That's fair. Next game we're talking about, we did a little foreshadowing on this one just a few minutes ago. Washington State heading to James Madison. It's hilarious, these Oregon State, Washington States, now what they have to fill in their schedule with. But James Madison's their opponent this week. Who do you got?
So I'm going to be cheering for Washington State. Ashley's cousin has recently been named, I think just within the last couple weeks, the starter at Mike linebacker for Wazoo. So it's always fun checking the box score, watching those games. Dude's a tackling machine. He led the team in tackles this past week. Blanking on who they played.
I think Oregon State.
Did they play Oregon? I know they play Oregon State twice. That's how weird the Pac-12 is right now with
Yeah,
only 2 teams.
they play them twice.
Um, I don't. They didn't play Oregon State though.
Let me take a look.
Anyways, he's a tackling machine. He'll be out there. I'm going to be cheering for Washington State. I just think this game matters a little more for James Madison, like we talked about just a couple minutes ago. James Madison's going to be trying to win out to only have 1 loss and have a chance as that group of 5 team. So
Louisiana Tech.
okay, yep, that's right, Louisiana Tech. I was like, I watched the game. Why can I not think of who it was? But yeah, I think James Madison's just. I think they're a better team, and it just means a little more.
Yeah, this Washington State team's actually not bad. If they were in the old Pac-12, they're 5-5. There's a good chance that they would be a 500 team in the old Pac-12. They played teams like Virginia, Ole Miss very well this season, but losing within a couple points in both occasions. They're not afraid of going on the road. I think expect this one to be really, really close, but I've got James Madison edging out the win. I kind of want to see James Madison in the playoffs, so I'm going to be rooting for James Madison.
Simulation had James Madison winning 34-26.
Fair enough. Let's head to the Big Ten, which used to be a great. This used to be a great Pac-12 matchup, Pac-10 matchup, going way back there. Number 15 USC heading to Eugene to take on number 7 Oregon.
So this is definitely a game where the loser is probably knocked out of an opportunity. Obviously USC needs a win to try to boost their resume to get in. Oregon, if they lose to USC, they're probably out. So I would consider this an elimination game for one of these teams. I'm taking Oregon at home. I know USC's been playing really good football recently. They've had some good wins, but I think the Eugene crowd and those Oregon crazies will be hyped, and Oregon really just needs to win out. I don't know if they're really a championship contender to say, but I mean, they have the athletes. They just need to get that. I mean, if they can just start clicking, they could beat anyone in the country. it's like we haven't seen the best of Oregon yet this year. So,
Yeah.
regardless, I'm gonna take Oregon at home. I think they have to win this game. Obviously, either team has to win this game to have an opportunity, but I think Oregon will be a little more fired up at home.
Yeah, so I think Oregon wins this one. I think they're in. I think that pretty much solidifies it. I know they got Washington next week. UFC, I think if they win, they still have to probably get the ball to bounce a little bit their way. They're going to be that bubble team, I think. Obviously, it's going to significantly help whoever wins this game. But the fact of the matter, this game's being played in Eugene. I expect Oregon to win it. This would be their best win of the season if it were to happen. Um, but I think these teams are very equal. I think this is going to be a one-score game, very tight the whole way through. But I'll take Oregon.
Simulation thinks it will not be a one-score game, and it has Oregon winning 41-27.
Surprising. All right, let's head over to the Big 12, number 11, BYU, heading to Cincinnati. Your Wildcats took down Cincinnati last week. Thought they would potentially get the top 25, but they did not. But who do you got here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little biased, but I probably would have given that 25 to Arizona, not Arizona State, but it's neither here nor there. Probably doesn't really matter in the long run. I'm taking BYU. I think they're probably going to be a little pissed off that they're 11th in the country, but not in the college football playoff. Obviously, that's going to fuel them to just continue winning. Cincinnati is a tough place to play. U of A probably played one of the best games I've seen all year. They I think should have won by more than a touchdown or whatever it was. They really dominated Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a really good team, though. Obviously, it's always tough when you're traveling on the road, but I think BYU gets the job done.
Yeah, I'm going to take BYU as well. There's a reason they're 9-1 complete team. Cincinnati's good, but maybe a little exposed there against Arizona. I'm going to take BYU. Cincinnati's not playing for much at this point because they're kind of out of it, I think, based off the standings.
BYU's coming off that. They just played Texas Tech, right?
That was a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
Was that a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Well, regardless, they got shellacked by Texas Tech, so they need to just stack some wins and before the final college football playoff rankings come out. Simulation has the upset. Cincinnati winning 28-20.
Fair enough. Before we jump off to the next game, little Big 12 news you may not have heard about, but it's all over the radio stations out here, so we'll see if it's true or not. Apparently, Sam Levette's going to enter the transfer portal and book out of Arizona State.
I thought I saw that on Twitter, and then my Twitter updated, and I couldn't find it. It was one of those, like, I got on Twitter, and it was right there, but then Twitter updated real fast, and it was gone. I was like, wait a second. So I saw a picture of an Arizona State player, and then it said, like, transfer, but I didn't know that was Sam Levitt.
All over the radio stations here yesterday, it's kept on popping up of Sam Levette's going to enter the portal when the portal window opens at the end of the season. It's like, Jesus, all right, that's surprising.
I'm getting on Twitter real fast just to look. Because that could even potentially mean. Let's see here. Kenny Dillingham has spoken with Sam Levitt since the quarterback had surgery a couple weeks ago. He's on the road to recovery. Sam's my guy. Everything I've ever said about him is absolutely true.
And it could very well be a leverage play for him to get more money. It could be just a leverage play of like, I'm going to enter the portal, and it's just a way of gaining an extra $500,000 or something from ASU. It could very well just be that play.
That's true.
It's just a surprise.
Sam Levitt is still weighing his options to either return to ASU or enter the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Or here's a theory. What if he transfers to LSU and Kenny Dillingham goes with him?
That could happen too, which would also be very surprising. But
yeah.
All right. Well, just much more something to keep an eye on here going. We're closely coming to the off season, which is amazing. Last game we're going to talk about ACC matchup: Pitt heading to number 16, Georgia. Both these teams have a way into the title game. Georgia Tech probably has the best compared to all these other AC teams that are kind of just swimming around each other.
I think Georgia Tech's the best team in the ACC. Personally, I think they're better than Miami. I think they have the best quarterback in the ACC. They're at home. Pitt looked absolutely awful against Notre Dame, so I'm taking Georgia Tech. I'm a big King fan, the quarterback for Georgia Tech. So he can throw, he can run. He's kind of the quintessential mobile quarterback with an arm. So I think Georgia Tech wins this one pretty easily at home.
I got Georgia Tech as well. I got nothing to add to that.
Simulation has another upset. Has Pitt winning 34-19.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, ACC doesn't make any sense right now,
Yeah.
so it doesn't. That wouldn't shock me. All right, well, let's jump into our top five of the week, which we're going to be talking our top five, who we think are the best quarterbacks in college football are right now. I'll be honest with you, I had a lot of trouble with this list. This was a tough one, but we'll jump right on into it. I'll let you go first. Who's your number five? This was really difficult.
Yeah, this was hard because I was trying to look at like stats, but then not, okay, if you're going by like quarterback who has the most yards in college football, it's like some no-name dude I've never heard of on some scrub team. So I tried to weigh things, like yards and touchdowns and least amount of interceptions and maybe throwing a little rushing yards here and there and then record. So yeah, it was tough. Number five, a little bit of a homer pick. I went with Noah Fafita. He's a little guy. I think he would get way more praise if he wasn't like 5'9". The dude is really, really skilled. He just set the record at Arizona for most touchdown passes in a career, which is also kind of wild to think about when over the years we've had quarterbacks like Willie. He beat Willie Tuitama's record, which that's a throwback name I haven't thought about in a long time. But then you think of guys like Nick Foles, Khalil Tate, but a lot of those guys like Nick Foles transferred in. Khalil Tate had like one good year. It's like we haven't really had like a quarterback who stuck around for 3+ years, and Fafita's looking like he's going to probably be that guy and continue adding on to that next year. So he's had a good season. Arizona's been a lot better than I thought they would be this year, and a lot of that has had to do with Fafita. He's had a couple, I want to say 5 touchdown games. So he's had a really good season. I mean, he was up there in yardage, he was up there in touchdowns, and he hasn't really thrown too many interceptions. So I got Fafita at number 5.
All right, so my number five is a little bit out there, and I don't know exactly how to pronounce this guy's name, but Joe Fagnola or
I
Nola.
was looking. I was looking at
Yeah.
him. Yeah, he
So
almost made my list.
out of UConn, I've seen some highlights of him throughout the season because he's been good. He's a senior. He is sixth in yardage this year, but the big thing that's blown everything away is 25 touchdowns, 1 pick, and he's led this UConn team to an 8-3 record, which is not easy to do. Dude's probably going to get drafted, but when you're throwing numbers up like that and you're sixth in yards in the country, I had to put him at 5.
I'm checking him real quick on ESPN because I want to see if this is the dude I was looking at. Yep, it is. So he played 4 years
Mhm.
at Maine. Is that? Yep, the Maine Black Bears. He played 4 years at Maine. He's now in his 3rd season at UConn, so he's on year 7. He started
Yeah,
as a freshman in 2019.
it's insane.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. This kid, he has to be. It doesn't list his age.
Got to be like
How old is
25.
this guy? He's got to be 25, but he's clearly in. This has to be like a COVID year. I mean,
Yeah, it's a
how do
COVID year
you?
situation.
It has to be that or like some kind of. Well, no, because 2019 he played 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. He's
Yeah,
played every year. I guess technically he could have redshirted in 2020 or 2021 because he didn't really. It
he
looks like
might
he
have
only.
redshirted in 23.
And then got a COVID year or something. Yeah, anyways, wild.
But yeah, he's racked up over 10,000 total yards or 10,000 passing yards as a college athlete. So But yeah, that's my number five.
Number four, I threw in Ty Simpson, and the reason I have him, I guess, this low, is the fumble issue. He's had a good season if you look at just his passing, numbers, and I think he's going to be probably the number one, number two, maybe number three quarterback taken in the draft. But he's kind of gotten into the Giants Daniel Jones fumbling issue where it just seems like every game he's going to fumble the ball. So I still think he's one of the best quarterbacks in college football right now, but he's got to figure out those fumble issues.
So I've got at number four Sawyer Robertson, Baylor. He's leading the country in passing yards. Very nice. He's leading in TDs as well. Having a really good year. I had to put him at four. The only reason I put him at four is more of a self-inflicted thing. Just haven't seen a lot of Baylor football. In the Big 12 is just not as competitive, so he might be Pat Staden a little bit, but I got him at four, number one in yards, number one TDs, 8 picks, and he had some hype going into the season. Sure, I'll go four.
I will ditto everything you said because I have Sawyer Robertson at number three.
Perfect. All right, then I'll go to my number three. My number three is John Mateer at Oklahoma. It just looks different when he is out there on the field for Oklahoma this year. Obviously got hurt, and Texas game just didn't look the same. But he has rallied Oklahoma to looking like one of the top teams in the country when healthy. And I don't have too much more to say. It's just too bad he got hurt because if he hadn't stayed healthy, he would be right in the middle of that Heisman consideration.
Yeah, I honestly, John Mateer would probably be my sixth. Those two injured games, just kind of his numbers are a little
Flat.
flatter. But I mean, realistically, John Mateer is one of the best quarterbacks playing right now. At number two, I have Julian Sayin from Ohio State. He's having an incredible year and getting really no love from the media. I think he's probably a top Heisman candidate at this point, betting wise. But you just don't hear his name a lot. And Ohio State, for being the number one team in the country, are just kind of, it's weird to say they're flying under the radar. They don't get talked about, but they're kind of they're a business. They're just kind of getting the job done. They're just going out and doing their business. So not really, they don't need people to talk about them because there's nothing really to talk about. Like they are the best team in the country, and they're showing us that they're the best team in the country. And with that, they have Julian Sayin, who has 25 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And he's honestly one of the best quarterbacks that I haven't watched as much. I mean, other than maybe the Ohio State-Texas game, I haven't seen him play much, so I'll definitely have to tune into that Big Ten championship to see Julian Sayin, because he's a quarterback to keep an eye on for the future.
Yeah. So I'm going to just go with my one and two because I think we've got similar situations going on here. My number two is actually Mendoza. My number one is Sam. But in all reality, this could go either way. It's flipping a coin. You see kind of how they lead their teams. You even look at the stat lines. They're basically identical. It's pretty crazy how similar they are. So at this point, I'm literally just going 1A, 1B. It could go either way for me. I have Sam written down as my one here, and I got Mendoza as the two, but I can honestly go either way. I'm pretty sure you have Mendoza at one.
Yeah, I gave Mendoza the nod just because I think I've seen him play more, and he's listed as the potential number one pick in the NFL draft. He, at least according to ESPN, I actually thought it was Sawyer Robertson, like you had said earlier, but Fernando Mendoza has 30 touchdown passes. Robertson has 29. So I guess Mendoza's the leader in touchdown passes in all of college football. So something I did not see this coming. I didn't even know who he was when he transferred from Cal to Indiana, and he's vaulted himself into arguably, one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in college football, depending who you talk to. So Um, yeah, he can do it a little bit with his legs. He's not unathletic. But yeah, whether you have Sayan or Fernando Mendoza, those are probably, I would say, the two top guys if you polled 100 people in the country of who's the best quarterback. So
Yep, I
leave it
agree.
at that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other guys that we did not talk about, for me at least, that could have made this list. I mean, it's a pretty deep college football landscape when it comes to quarterback. It's going to be interesting to see how many of these guys have success on the next level, and who actually even makes it to the next level. It's tough. It's tough even to make the league. Um, that
Yeah, even
said,
even a guy like Darian Mensah at Duke, he was
yeah,
someone I considered a little bit.
yeah. So, but, all right. Well, anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up here?
I'm all good.
Cool. All right, we'll wrap it up. And tomorrow we got week 12 of the NFL season. We'll be talking some NFL coaches and everything else that's coming with the week before Thanksgiving. Um, we'll see you all tomorrow.